Hey Canucks fans, let's talk about our forwards. Not only those who are playing, but those who are not playing with the club right now. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCBC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, October the 21st. It's an off day. The Canucks traveled from New York to Detroit as they take on the Red Wings tomorrow night. Game number 4, the last game of their 4-game road trip. A road trip that's seen them go 2-1 so far. 2 wins and 1 loss. Of course, they've had wins in St. Louis and New York yesterday, and their only loss being that 1-0 loss to New Jersey on Saturday. And what a difference between the two games. Saturday's 1-0 loss to New Jersey, very slow, very murky or muddy or whatever word you want to use. It was not a pretty sight. Jack Hughes got his first goal. Good for him. Good for the Hughes family, I guess. But, of course, it wasn't fun to watch. And it was funny. A lot of people were saying, oh, I had to get up to watch this. I can't believe I got up to watch this. And then I'm thinking, the game started at 10. What time do you sleep until on Saturday? And then on Sunday, completely different. I'd be saying this if it was win or lose, but it's nice that the Canucks won. It was exciting. It was thrilling. It was a complete contrast to the Saturday game. The Canucks dominated the first period. The second period, they still, I think, controlled the play. Then the third period, they got absolutely manhandled. And it made it for an exciting game, back and forth, scoring chances on both ends. And what a contrast, like I said, between the Sunday win and the Saturday loss. And not just because it was a win on Sunday and a loss on Saturday. So now the Canucks sit at 5-3 on the season. They're in a wild card spot, battling for a wild card spot right now. And yes, it's early, of course, but the Pacific Division actually with teams like Edmonton and Anaheim, and of course Vegas and Calgary, Vancouver, Arizona right behind them. You know, the Pacific Division actually started a lot stronger than the Central Division, but again, it's early and a lot can change. But I keep saying it's early. We keep saying it's a small sample size, but they've already played 8 games now, and that's 10% of the season. And I know most of you, as I've talked about before, are saying, well, give it 20 games, give it to American Thanksgiving, and that's cool. I'm willing to give you all of that. But and I know the Canucks have started out well before in previous seasons before falling off. But as I tweeted yesterday, there's something different about this team. The way they have an identity, the way they're establishing a culture, the way they battle, the way they are tenacious. And I simply don't see them getting blown out a lot or going on these 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 game winless streaks. I just have a sense that this team is different. A lot of you agree with me. Some people don't. They say, I'm being too idealistic or too positive. But hey, that's my shtick, right? I'm the founder of the GLCPC. So let's talk about what's, among many factors, excellent goaltending, strong play from the D, offensive contributions from the D, great penalty kill. Let's talk about the forwards, because the 12 forwards that the Canucks have been rolling with for the past 3 or 4 games have been the 12 of, in essence, I'll go through the lines really quickly. Pettersson, Besser, Miller, Horvat, Virtanen, and Pearson. Then it was Sutter, Levo, Ferlin, and then Beagle, Mott, and Schaller. Those are the 12 forwards that have been playing recently. That means Gaudette has sat for a couple games. Louis Eriksson has sat for many games already. And that also means that Antoine Roussel, or doesn't mean it, but we know that Antoine Roussel is going to come back in the next few weeks. So already you have 15, once Roussel's ready, healthy forwards ready to go. And then you see Nikolai Goudobin and Sven Baertschi lighting it up in Utica. And sure, they're motivated. They want to prove themselves as everyday NHLers. Yes, neither of them got picked up on waivers at the start of the season. But I think you could agree that Baertschi's an NHL player. He just needed to find himself, at least according to Canucks management. And Goudobin's kind of on the fence, but let's call him an NHL player. So now we're talking about 17 guys at least who could be everyday NHL forwards. So something's got to give. And that's what I'm most interested in, what I want to talk about today. And the guys I think about, most of those 12 guys that I talked about, I think are pretty safe. Tim Schaller has been the whipping boy last season, but he's proven to be played very well alongside Jay Beagle, both at even strength and on the penalty kill. Mott's being good. Virtanen and Levo being fine. Of course, the big 3 of Pettersson, Besser, and Horvat being fine. Pearson's been good. JT Miller's been outstanding. So really, the one guy who's seen less, his ice time diminished, the one guy who's not living up to expectations, but the one guy who's got a hefty salary is Michael Ferlin. And I'm kind of fascinated to see, I've always said that, I like JT Miller, but I've been really hopeful that Michael Ferlin will be the prized addition of the 4 additions, right? Of Myers, of Ben, Miller, and Ferlin. I want all 4 of them to do well, but I especially thought that Ferlin could bring something that we really needed. And quite simply, he hasn't done that yet. And his ice time, he's getting less than 10 minutes in some games. He's not hitting as well as we thought he would, compared to what he did to us in that playoff series when he was with Calgary a few years ago. So he has been a bit of a disappointment. And as much as we're saying it's a small sample size, it is a small sample size. He was sick throughout the preseason, so maybe it took him a week or two to get going. But now we're, like I said, moving to the second the 11 to 20%. That was a weird way of putting it, but you know what I mean. We're going to game 9 now, and are we starting to see that or think that what we see with Ferland is what we get? Do you bench a guy with a $3+ million salary or $3.5 million salary? Well, I guess you're benching a guy with a $6 million salary in Louis Eriksson. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on. Is Ferland gonna? I don't think he can drop to the fourth line because Travis Green really likes that combination of Beagle, Schaller, and Mott. So is he going to stay on the third line? Will he get another chance at the second line? Did he lose that to Jake Virtanen? Who knows? But it's funny, kind of in Jake Virtanen and Michael Ferland, there's so much potential, but you want them to do more. Then you have a guy like Adam Gaudette. It doesn't make sense to keep him up with a big club if he's simply going to sit in the press box, especially if the 4 centers are doing well, especially if there's no winger that he would displace at this time, especially if Travis Green still doesn't completely trust him, then send him down to Utica. He doesn't have to clear waivers, so there's no harm, and get him playing 18-20 minutes a night down there. Although Utica's got off to a 5-0 start too, so it's not like he'd wreck their chemistry, but Utica is doing well without Adam Gaudette. So that's another one. So you got questions about Ferland, you got questions about Gaudette, you got questions about Louis Eriksson. What are they going to do with him? I heard in actual salary he's still owed $8 million over the next 2 years. I would collect $8 million to go practice every day, but these guys are they have pride. They're professional athletes. They've been used to performing at high levels all their life. So what's going to happen with Louis Eriksson? Do you put him in Utica and hope that he retires? I don't want that. I'm not saying that I want that, but that could happen. Do you just make him sit in the press box all season until an injury, besets the team? So that's another thing to think about. And then speaking of injury, you have Anton Roussel, who sounds like he's getting ready to come back soon, and he's definitely a top 12 player. So when Roussel comes back, you got to get him in the lineup. So then are you looking at a Schaller or Virtanen or Ferland sitting out for Anton Roussel, because you want Roussel for his tenaciousness, for his aggressiveness. He's got offensive ability, and for his penalty kill. So that's another thing to think about, is Anton Roussel. And then you got the 2 quasi-NHL guys sitting in Utica, ripping it up there, in Sven Baertschi and Nikolai Goudobin. I think Sven Baertschi gets the call-up before Nikolai Goudobin. I think Sven Baertschi is a proven NHL player. Goudobin, the jury's still out, although I know Goudobin has a lot of supporters here in Vancouver. But that's another thing to think about, is do you bring Baertschi up? So let's say, God forbid, one of our Canucks gets injured, has to go on the IR, and say Roussel's not ready yet. Do you bring up Baertschi and place him in the lineup before you put in Adam Gaudette, if he's still here, or Louis Eriksson? And I guess it depends, who's he replacing. If he was replacing one of our skilled forwards, like in our top 6, i.e. a Besser or, a Pearson or a Miller, then you want one of the skill guys. I think Baertschi or Goudobin to go in, especially if you don't think you can fill it from the current 12 guys playing. So that's when you think Sven Baertschi would come in. But if, let's say it's a bottom 6 guy, like a Levo or a Schaller or Mott that goes down, and let's say, again, Roussel is not ready yet, then are you more apt to put Louis Eriksson in a bottom 6 role? So there's so many fascinating things here. And I guess it's a good problem to have when you think about it. Salary implications notwithstanding, right? You could say, well, gosh, Sven Baertschi, he's making $3 million plus to play in Utica. Louis Eriksson is making $6 million to sit on the bench. That's already $9 million. That's almost, what is that? More than 10% of your cap already tied up in guys that aren't playing on a regular basis. So I know that's an issue, but I think overall it's a good problem to have from a standpoint is you have 17 guys that you could slot in. They're not all equally skilled, but you have 17 guys that you can slot in into 12 forward spots. So that's some freedom and some, I guess, depth that the Canucks have never had, at least in recent memory. So many things. Canucks fans, what I want to know is, I want to know what you think about anything. What do you let's just have an open discussion here. I just stuttered. Tell me what you think about Ferland's play. Do you think we should give him more time, or are you worried that what we see is what we're going to get? Do you think Gaudette should be sent down and not waste time not playing? Are you fine with Louis Eriksson parked in the press box? If those 14 guys stay, what happens when Anton Roussel comes back? Who's the guy to go? not only to sit, does someone go down to Utica? And speaking of Utica, what do you do with Sven Baertschi and Nikolai Goudette? Do you continue to let them light things up? Are they building up their trade value? Is there any trade value being built up when you're playing in the AHL as opposed to the NHL? And then if you bring Baertschi up, I presume it's Baertschi over Goudette, who do you send down or who do you sit? So many things to think about. Like I said, right now it's a good problem to have, and we're not worried about it too much because the Canucks are winning. They're 5-3, battling for a playoff spot early in the season. So we haven't had to worry so much about or lament a lack of depth. It's quite the opposite, but it will come to a head, whether it's an injury, whether it's Roussel coming back, or whether it's Gaudette or Eriksson start to grumble or rumble or mumble or whatever the word is a little bit in the press box. So a lot of things to think about. Let's just have an open discussion, Canucks fans. I'd love to know what you think about our forward situation. Leave a comment below. I'll read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. Go Canucks go.